Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Kim Salem-Jackson, CMO of Akamai. In this series, I sit down with some of our most esteemed customers to understand how they partner with Akamai to both drive growth for their business and drive change in their industries and society at large. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Mark DeSantis, CEO of Bloomfield Robotics, an extraordinary company that aims to improve food security, food quality, and the use of arable land to improve crop yields across the globe. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thanks, Kim. This is a great opportunity. I appreciate the chance to be on this program.
Yeah, well, I am thrilled to have you. So why don't we dive right in? So, Mark, fun fact for our audience, this is not the first time we are meeting. I had the pleasure of awarding you a $1 million award as part of our Life Online Challenge a few years ago. So it is wonderful to see you again. How has Bloomfield leveraged the winnings from the Life Online Challenge to grow your business?
What it did is we are very much tied to the cloud. And for those who might be, perhaps most of you listening, be unfamiliar with what we do, we essentially help growers tell the grower the health and performance of their specialty crops. Think of the world's fruits and vegetables, as well as flowers, coffee beans, everything that isn't wheat, rice, corn, all those crops. Those are sometimes called high-value crops. And like my grandfather, my Italian immigrant grandfather did when I was a 10-year-old kid, he would walk in the garden and he was always looking at the tomatoes and peppers and all these wonderful vegetables he was growing, and he was tending to them continuously until he harvested them. He had to go into the garden because he had to know the condition of the plants in order to give treatments to the plants to ensure he'd have a healthy harvest. Well, that little routine that my grandfather did is actually duplicated on a massive scale for the world's roughly $1.6 trillion in specialty crops. What we did is came up with a means to use artificial intelligence and imaging developed at Carnegie Mellon University and their Robotics Institute over about a decade to utilize that to do that for growers around the world. We have customers in Chile and Peru, who are some of the world's largest blueberry growers. We have vintners in France and California. We have Welch's grape juice in New York State. That's where Akamai has made all the difference in the world. It allows us to utilize the cloud to do the analysis, store the data, and do it efficiently and inexpensively.
That's fantastic. I mean, what an incredible origin story to begin with, starting to emulating what your grandfather did, all the way to leveraging, AI and technology and, Akamai's cloud computing services. That is such a fascinating application of technology in service to the world. So speaking of that, Mark, here at Akamai, and you probably know this by now from working with us, we are driven by our purpose to make life better for billions of people, trillions of times a day. What does Akamai help you make possible for your company, your customers, and more important, the world at large?
If you look at world population, it's increasing by about 40% over the next 30 years. That's several billion people. And the challenge for people that live on planet Earth is there's not a lot more arable land available to grow those crops. There is some, but not much, not nearly enough to meet that expected demand over the next 30 years. Essentially, the world's food production will have to double. And in order to double, it's going to have to do it with what land is available, which anyone that sort of thinks that through would say that means we got to get more per plant. That means that every plant that we grow, whether it be an apple tree or a stalk of corn, has to be more productive than it is now. Well, where we come in is we tell the grower the condition of the plant on a continuous basis. This is new and different. The human inspection process is pretty limited. The amount of data, the volume of data that now solutions like what we provide, farm robotics companies that are in the field harvesting crops, the volume and variety and frequency of data is going to be mind-boggling. Akamai, along with us and a few other companies globally, are taking the first few steps to this crop digitalization. It will become a permanent feature of farming now and forever. That's a big deal. And we could not have asked for a better partner to go in with to do that, because you guys have always been, at the cutting edge. We know that from our experience with you and from what we've done in our research. So we could not have asked for a better partner.
Well, thank you for that. And I can't think of a better use case of someone actually trying to solve world hunger. I mean, looking at the exponential growth of people and the growing demand of food. I mean, that is such an incredible use case. And then selfishly, for all us wine drinkers in the world, we say thank you for protecting the vineyards on a more local level. That is a profound use case and story in what you're trying to achieve. All right. Well, why don't I wrap with something fun while we're on a roll, a way to get for the audience to get to know you just a little bit better.
Yeah,
as a CEO, and obviously a 3-time, right? You said this is your 3rd AI company, which is a bit of a trend right now, AI. What advice do you have for other executives leading companies and or executives leading very large organizations?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think what I've come to appreciate is the value of infinite patience. And that sounds strange, coming from a startup person, because everyone has this image of startups are fast moving and, you can't be patient. You've got to make stuff happen today. And to some extent that's true, but there are some things that just can't be rushed. And the big thing that in my experience that I would say probably to any CEO is when it comes to birthing kind of innovation, the innovation comes when it comes, and it doesn't come sooner. And accepting failure as just an outcome of those bets, and not treating failure as, for some reason, because we've tried this three times and all 3 times have failed, there's something wrong. I'd say you just learned 3 things. Keep trying.
Well, back to the sound bites. So innovation is a series of small bets. Failure is a gift, and infinite patience. I think that about sums up our call. Well, Mark, this was incredibly fun. I feel like I could chat with you for hours. I want to thank you so very much for your time today and sharing your inspiring story about what your company makes possible. And I feel honored that Akamai can play a part in what you do. And for everyone listening, I want to thank you so much for the privilege of your time.
Well, it's a privilege working with your team. You've got an excellent team. Everybody on your side has been just, I feel like they're part of the company. You guys have done a great job. We're very honored to be working with you as well.
You are part of Akamai. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, and thank you, everyone.
Sure. Thank you.